Nobody asks for pain. Nobody wakes up hoping to fail, to lose someone they love, to have their heart broken, to watch years of hard work fall apart. If we had the choice, most of us would choose the easy road, the comfortable road, the road without struggle. But what if that road is the one that keeps us weak? Think about your own life, the moments that changed you forever. Were they the easy ones? Or were they the moments that brought you to your knees? The failure that forced you to grow, the rejection that pushed you in a new direction, the heartbreak that taught you who truly mattered, the loss that made you appreciate what remained. Pain has a strange way of becoming our greatest teacher, not because it is kind, but because it refuses to let us stay the same. Every scar tells a story, every setback leaves a lesson, every obstacle asks a question. Will this break you or build you? That question has echoed through human history. And more than a century ago, one philosopher answered it with a sentence that still inspires millions today. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. At first it sounds like a motivational slogan, something you might read on a poster, but Nietzsche meant something far deeper. He wasn't saying that every painful experience automatically makes you stronger. Some people are crushed by hardship, others are transformed by it. The difference isn't found in the pain. It's found in the person who chooses how to respond. Tonight you'll discover why comfort can quietly weaken the human spirit, why struggle often reveals strengths you never knew you possessed, and how the hardest chapter of your life may become the foundation of your greatest transformation, because perhaps the question isn't whether life will test you. It will. The real question is, when hardship comes, who will you become? Friedrich Nietzsche wasn't a man who preached from a life of comfort. He wasn't born into an easy existence. He didn't write from the safety of success. Instead, his philosophy was forged through hardship, through loneliness, through illness, and through relentless struggle. For much of his life, Nietzsche battled severe migraines, crippling headaches, failing eyesight, and chronic physical pain. Some days, the agony was so intense that he could barely read, barely write, barely think, yet he refused to let suffering define him. Instead, he asked a question that few people are willing to ask. Can pain become a source of strength? Unlike many philosophers before him, Nietzsche wasn't searching for a life without difficulty. He believed that such a life didn't exist. Every person would face loss, failure, disappointment, rejection. The difference wasn't in who suffered, the difference was in what they did with their suffering. Some people allowed hardship to make them bitter, others allowed it to make them wiser. Nature teaches this lesson everywhere. Look at a tree growing on an open plain. Every year, it faces powerful winds, heavy rain, blazing heat, freezing winters. Yet those very storms force its roots to grow deeper. Suppose the tree had never faced resistance. It would never become strong enough to survive. People are not so different. Comfort may feel pleasant, but comfort rarely demands growth. Nietzsche believed that struggle wasn't always the enemy. Sometimes it was the teacher. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. Were they strong because life had been easy? Or because life had tested them, again and again, until they discovered a strength they never knew they possessed? Wisdom often arrives after hardship, not before it. Imagine a sword being forged. The metal enters the fire. It is heated until it glows, then struck repeatedly by a hammer again and again. To an outside observer, it looks like destruction. But the blacksmith knows something different. Every strike gives the blade its shape. Every moment in the fire makes it stronger. Without the heat, without the pressure, the sword would remain ordinary. This is what Nietzsche wanted us to understand. Hardship, by itself, is not enough. Pain doesn't automatically make us stronger. Some people experience suffering and become consumed by anger. Others experience the very same suffering and emerge with greater courage, greater compassion, greater resilience. The event is the same, the response is different. That is why Nietzsche's famous quote is so often misunderstood. He wasn't praising pain, he was praising transformation, the ability to take life's hardest moments and allow them to shape your character instead of shattering your spirit. Because when hardship arrives, life quietly asks every one of us the same question. Will this experience become the weight that breaks you or the fire that forges you? Strength is a strange thing. Everyone wants it. Few people want the process that creates it. We admire courage, but not fear. We admire resilience, but not suffering. We admire wisdom, but not the mistakes that often give birth to it. Yet you cannot separate the two. Imagine watching a butterfly fight its way out of a cocoon. It twists, pushes, struggles. You feel sorry for it, so you decide to help. You carefully cut open the cocoon and set the butterfly free. It looks like kindness, but you've unknowingly doomed it. The struggle of escaping the cocoon forces fluid into its wings. Without that resistance, its wings never become strong enough to fly. Sometimes the very struggle we want to escape is the thing preparing us for life. The same is true for us. Every challenge asks something of you: patience, discipline, courage, humility. You may not realize it in the moment, but every obstacle is quietly developing a part of your character. Think back to the hardest season of your life. At the time, it probably felt unfair, you wanted it to end, you questioned why it was happening. But now, looking back, can you see how it changed you? Perhaps it made you more patient, more grateful, more compassionate, or simply stronger than the person you were before. This doesn't mean every painful experience has a happy ending. Nietzsche never claimed that. Some wounds leave scars. Some losses stay with us forever. But even scars tell a story. They remind us not only of what hurt us, but of what we survived. Look at a mountain. Year after year, it faces rain, snow, wind, lightning. The storms leave their marks. But the mountain remains, not because it avoided hardship, because it endured it. Human character is built the same way, not in comfort, but in endurance. There's a dangerous illusion in modern life. The belief that happiness comes from avoiding discomfort, avoid difficult conversations, avoid failure, avoid rejection, avoid risk. For a while, that may feel safe, but slowly, your world becomes smaller. You stop taking chances, you stop growing, you begin living inside the limits of your own fear. Comfort becomes a cage. Growth has always required resistance. A muscle grows stronger only after being challenged. A tree grows deeper roots after surviving storms. A river carves through solid rock, not because it is the strongest force in nature, but because it keeps flowing, again and again and again. The lesson is simple. Strength is not built in a single moment of triumph. It is built in countless moments when giving up would have been easier, but you chose to continue. So the next time life places an obstacle in your path, don't ask immediately, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask something different. "What is this trying to teach me?" That one question changes everything. It transforms hardship from an enemy into a teacher, from a punishment into preparation. Because the greatest transformations rarely happen when life is easy. They happen when life demands more from you than you thought you had to give. Perhaps that's what Nietzsche meant all along. Not that suffering is good, not that pain is something to seek, but that when hardship enters your life, you have a choice. You can allow it to become the story that defeats you, or the chapter that makes you stronger.